Alright, so continuing my series on the Nakshatras, as they're called in Vedic astrology, or the lunar mansions, as they are called in Western astrology. Today we're going to be continuing. Last video I did Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, which is the one that starts at like the end of Leo and goes to about 10 degrees Virgo. So picking up there, this is the lunar station or mansion, depending on how you call it, that goes from 10 degrees Virgo to 23 and a third, or 0.2 degrees Virgo. And if you are new to this channel and you're wondering what a lunar mansion is, or a lunar station, or a nakshatra, those are all different words for the same thing. Nakshatra is the Vedic Sanskrit word for it, and then lunar mansion and station are the astronomy and astrology terms, respectively, from the Western tradition. So, with that being said, it's the distance that the moon moves in one day. So a 24-hour solar revolution, we've got the moon moving 13 and a third degrees. So there's 27 of those in the 360 degree zodiac belt, and so it's on a 27-day cycle, basically. And each of these in astrology has an archetypal co-ruler that's going to allow you to zoom in on your predictions and your understanding of the nature of time as it relates to the human experience, which is basically what this whole thing is about. It's about understanding your place in time in terms of a very human, meaningful perspective, as opposed to kind of the dead perspective that the current scientific model gives us, the sort of lifeless, mechanical clockwork universe. Is like, this is basically, it uses the same mathematical principles, but it gives a different, it gives more of a psychological, personal, metaphysical approach to these things that allows you to connect time to your experience and not be alienated from it. So without further ado, the middle portion of Virgo is known as the Nakshatra of Hasta, and that's the Vedic terminology. In Western, it would just be called the 12th lunar mansion or station. So the co-ruler of this is Moon, and Virgo is an earth sign ruled by Mercury. It's the mutable earth sign. So it represents, if you think about what mutable means, it means changeable, adaptable, and earth being the element associated with material reality, and also sort of more concrete ideas, which is exactly what Virgo represents. So mutable signs tend to deal with ideas, and earth signs tend to deal with physical reality. So when you put the ideas that pertain directly to physical reality together, you get facts, and Virgo is the sign of facts. It's the sign of editing information. It's the sign of architects, architecture, building things with your hands, because all material transformation basically takes place with the hands. Like, that's how humans edit the world. It starts with the mind and it ends in the hands, creating what you want, whether it's a bridge, a gazebo, a stonework, a craft, any sort of craft, from a skyscraper to a chair, starts out in the mind and ends with the hands crafting reality as you see in the mind. So that's what this particular lunar mansion specifically represents. So Virgo represents that in general, but within the sign of Virgo, this is the specific part that is most associated with creativity using the hands. And the symbol for this nakshatra, in Vedic astrology, all of the nakshatras or lunar mansions have a symbol associated with them. The symbol for this is the fist or the hand, and it means exactly what I just said, the notion of human creativity being expressed through the mind and the hands. And the other thing about this nakshatra is that the secondary co-ruler of it is Pluto. So, and I guess that you could see that as the higher version of this. So if you put the energies of Mercury and Moon together in an archetypal sense, you're going to get Pluto. And the understanding, or the wisdom in that, is basically Pluto represents research and comprehension, and in order to do a great craft, you have to understand everything about it in its totality. You have to be able to visually map it to an obsessive level, and that's exactly what this nakshatra represents. So, that was basically the nakshatra of Hasta. It's a pretty short video. This is a pretty simple one. The next one's probably going to be a bit more complicated. It's the nakshatra of Chitra, which is the end of Virgo and the beginning of Libra. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, and I will make that video later.